On today's episode, Columbo just got back home after concluding the case of the missing swim trunks. Spoiler alert, he was wearing them the whole time. Columbo is handed off his next case, in which a former commentator named BrookeTheDragonDog covered commentator Doodle Tones in 2 different live streams after Doodle covered Brooke's initial response video to her. It should be noted that the first live stream wasn't posted by Brooke, but a screen-recorded copy that contains at least half of said live stream has been saved, which Columbo will be using to respond. There are after all still faults with that live stream and the second one that can be pointed out and questions about it that can be asked about them. Columbo enters the scene as Brooke is in the middle of her live stream arguing with those who have entered the chat to comment on what Brooke was saying.
I did not delete anything. Here's the thing. I deleted the channels because I have copyright strikes. I showed, here is proof of that again.
To anyone who is confused, Brooke is referring to their original channel and another channel of theirs, both of which were deleted after Suzy made her video on Brooke. But as Brooke stated, those channels were deleted cause they received copyright strikes which Brooke didn't want to deal with. The timing of it all, while to some would seem suspicious, that doesn't mean that it was indeed the case. Suzy herself didn't conclude that it was the case, as she even stated,
"No, you're taking things out of context again. He wanted my mom to get involved. My second channel was under the effect."
Again, what Brooke is referring to is this comment they made about what their mother would do to a content creator named Lio Convoy.
"And if he really wants to confront me, I'll get my mom out here and he will be fucking crying within 40 minutes.
Someone who Brooke criticized in the video Suzy covered, and someone who has been the subject of a bigger situation.
Yeah, I did that so he can just leave me the fuck alone. My mom's not afraid to confront a guy like this. She's been through domestic violence. I've seen her. Like I said before, I've seen her with domestic violence. You know, she will make Lyle cry within minutes. Why? Because my sister was worried. No, that is not hypocrisy at all. Okay? That's not hypocrisy at all. Listen. Okay? Just because I say shit like this, it means I'm trying to interrogate a reaction. And then sometimes when I get a reaction, my mom tells me to stop right there. Everybody tells me to stop, and I wind up stopping. I'm doing it for interrogation. I'm doing it for a reaction.
This reasoning in particular I find rather bothersome. So you admit you do this to intimidate people to get off your back, but also mention that people such as your mother have told you to stop doing this before. And yet you keep doing it. Also, involving your mother in all this is bothersome too, due to the fact that she is getting thrust into a situation that she either might not understand or does not want to get involved in. Especially if it means she might to get into a fight with someone. And since you stated that she herself has been subjected to domestic violence, and yet you want to throw her out there as a way to intimidate people, is rather disrespectful to her well-being as a survivor of said violence.
So, yeah, I'm stupid. Yay! I'm retarded. Go on, insult me more. Insult me. Insult me. Insult me.
This is a behavior of Brooke's that they displayed in their video on Suzy, where they basically guilt-trip those responding into feeling bad for them for making them feel stupid and feel like they are always wrong about everything just because they criticize them. Now if those responding are just being insulting or being unreasonably harsh, that is one thing, but people being critical are doing so cause whatever you are stating is perhaps indeed incorrect, how you are acting or even how what you are saying does not make sense. They have the right to give their thoughts about your opinions and what facts you base those opinions on, just like you have the right to do so for others. Also, I among others are not a fan of the R slur and would not be something we would say. Now even if I or others did call Brooke out for being foolish, it is not like we're doing so purely to be malicious, but because we are criticizing something for being as such.
Oh no, you guys are just messed up because you guys don't want to pay attention to me, and you know, you don't want to listen to my concern. You don't want to listen to me. What you're doing is enabling somebody that won't even fucking change for the better. Once a man acts like he's so suspicious and stuff, and he slaps a woman, like, would you say he slaps a woman and he yells at her and degrades her and all that other shit, that guy would never fucking change. That's what you guys are doing. That guy would never change. Because you guys are wrong. All of you guys are wrong. Okay? All of you guys are all in the wrong. No, I'm not claiming that shit. Oh my god.
Okay, so I will say this, that I believe there was a misunderstanding regarding Brooke's point. See, Brooke was not saying that Lio hits women. Brooke was giving an example of how if someone does something awful, then that person can never change from being that awful person that they have become. The example of someone beating someone was just that, an example, and not as a means to compare to what Lio did. Now with that said, I do disagree with the notion of someone not being able to change. Sure, a person cannot take back what was said or done to someone, but change is not forever impossible for them. A bigot can learn not to hate those who are different. Someone who punched a friend can understand that doing so was wrong and hurtful. One can learn empathy and learn to regret their past actions and want to change, if they are so willing to do so.
We are not doing this in a fucking call. I refuse call. And if it's gonna be recorded, I refuse. Because all of you want to corner me in a group of where you don't want to all listen to me. And yeah, I'm not giving you that satisfaction. Oh well.
Suzy extending an invite to talk to Brooke in a call being recorded is something that she has done recently in her past few videos. The reason for this is so that no one side can claim that someone else had taken someone out of context or claim things that were never said. Also, the call itself would not necessarily be a group call, as Suzy herself has been in previous calls where she was either talking one-on-one with someone or was talking to multiple people by herself. Suzy herself stated that the call wouldn't have to be a group call. Now, while Brooke has the right to refuse joining a call, proceeding to react to Suzy's video without even taking the time to understand what is being said won't do themselves any favors. Also, while those previous calls did have people getting heated, it is not without good reason, but that will become clearer while later in the stream.
No, it's all on the internet. Basically, I click on an icon or anything that I'm watching, and I immediately watch it, and I get contacts. That's basically it.
This is not a good way to get proper context of any situation. Clicking on a random video regarding said situation, while it can give you some details, it can also give you misinformation or half-truths. Everyone speaking on said situation may not have all the details or may be going off of hearsay. Said people may even have ill intentions, so they will spread lies on purpose. This is why when looking into something, it's important to look for actual facts and separate anything that is not well substantiated or does not make sense, and make sure not to jump to conclusions.
Yeah, they're all not gonna listen to me. They all are just taking shit out of context. They're twisting my words, all that. They don't want to hear me. They don't want to hear what I have to say. It's always them in the right. Always them in the right. I'm in the wrong. I'm stupid, right? I'm already hearing your side, and I think it's bullshit. What do you think? Oh my god, because you are! You all are taking me out of context. You're not understanding shit.
If it is not apparent by now, Brooke thinking that they may have actually made any mistakes is something they do not want to consider. They would rather double down than even take a moment to reflect.
Oh, I'm not helping! Oh, I'm not helping. Okay, whatever. I'm trying to give you the guys the benefit, and here you are twisting my words. How am I supposed to help you guys? How am I supposed to tell my side without any of you twisting my words? I don't care! You're making me all feel like I'm cornered right now. Just because I decided to go live and decided to blindly react to a video. I have to get this bullshit out of my chest. Yeah, you have given me, yes, you have gotten me an option, but here's the thing is that you're talking over me. All of you are talking over me.
Criticizing someone and raising questions is not harassment. Your stream is public to every and anyone who wants to watch and give their thoughts, including those who take issue with what you say, provided they don't take things too far, that is.
I don't have to define shit that I know to you. I'm not stupid. I'm not that fucking stupid. Hello?
As the presenter, it is important to give proper information and evidence to any at all claims you make, so that not only does everyone understand where you are coming from, but also so that it can be said that without a shadow of a doubt that what you are saying is true. Also, given how often you have been saying that everyone in chat is in the wrong, that is not giving people the benefit of the doubt as you claim. Finally, how are people speaking over you when they are communicating with you in text and not in a call?
Okay, whatever. Like, you're 18. What am I supposed to do? Listen to someone that's not older than me?
A person's age doesn't dictate whether or not their criticisms are good or bad. Plus, some of those in chat are older than Brooke in chat, so by Brooke's logic those people have the right to tell them off and they would have to listen.
I don't care. I'm glad that I have that delay anyway. I don't care. Helps chat move a little bit slower for me to understand. I don't care. I'm not. Yeah. No, I'm live because I want to defend my opinion. I want to defend my fucking self so I can live on my fucking life, and no one wants to. Nobody wants me to. Nobody wants me to live my life. Nobody cares. They just want to cancel me over stupid and petty shit that doesn't even fucking matter.
Once again, the invite to join a call with Suzy was just that, an invite. You are not being forced to join. There is no manipulation or attempt to cancel you going on here, and continuing to mischaracterize their actions and guilt trip them more is again not helping you. Also, how exactly did those in chat hurt your sister exactly?
To doodle. And, you know, basically, I am worried about her health. Don't get me wrong, I am. But the thing is that if she's gonna care too much about Lio Convoy's behavior and shit like this, then she's a lost cause. I'm sorry. There's no reasoning with Doodle. She's a lost cause. Same goes with her friends, same goes with everyone on here. Except for Meg. Meg B is not a lost cause. She's my sister. I love her. Everyone else is a lost cause. Even the ones who agree with Doodle and not stand by me are a lost cause too. because it's like,
standing up for someone because of certain things being said about them that are questionable or flat out wrong is not a bad thing. That does not mean one cannot in this case criticize Lio for whatever bad things he's currently done or has yet to answer for. It is simply outing out the lies and deception, and shedding a light on what is the truth of the matter. Also, so anyone who does not agree with any of what it is you have to say is a lost cause, even though you could very well be wrong on some things.
but you know what, Doodle, you're a lost cause. I don't care anymore. You can leave me alone. And all your associates can leave me alone now. Because this is, you know, this is probably the last time I'm talking about you at all.
Considering you made a second stream on the same video and all these other videos you made, this statement certainly didn't age well.
Like I said before, if you don't like my live streams, get out of here. If you don't like my live streams, get out of here. If you don't like the way that I joke about shit, get out of here. This is no special snowflake kind of, this is, like I said before, this is no special snowflake thing on here. So if you got something to be offended about, go away.
Considering how often you have been complaining throughout this whole stream, how you have said that people should only side with you, and how everyone criticizing you is in the wrong despite not caring to understand what valid points they make, the phrase snowflake certainly doesn't fit them.
Really? You're gonna defend the Proud family? Oh no! You're gonna defend the Proud family. Oh no! Bullshit!
People may have noticed that you can't hear the audio coming from Suzy's video, which is a problem since anyone listening to Brooke's video won't know what point Brooke is responding to, especially since people will want to know if what Brooke is responding to is what is actually being said or if Brooke is taking something out of context. This issue does not last the whole video, but it is a problem for this interjection along with a few other interjections that Brooke will make. Doesn't also help the fact that Brooke interjects frequently when Suzy has yet to even finish whatever point she is making. Also, Suzy didn't say proud family, she said found family, which is referring to a point she is making towards Brooke's point about how creepy it is that Lio Convoy has adopted those who don't have a support system, and how people will call Lio a predator for this alone when being a part of or adopting those without a family into yours inherently isn't a bad thing. And while it isn't important at all for this video, but in case anyone was wondering, Brooke never elaborates on what her issues are with the Proud family.
He is a predator, you don't understand. When he is preying against people that are like this and trying to take advantage, he it makes him look like more of a pervert. Makes him more like a predator when he wants to do something like this. My mom even said it was predatory.
Again, Suzy is talking about how the basis of found families isn't an inherently predatory thing. Whatever claims people have made about Lio, while there may be something, at least to some these claims, although these can be debated, but I digress. Being a figure to those without supportive figures in their lives isn't creepy on its own. People have found father figures or mother figures in those such as uncles, teachers, aunts, their friends' parents and so on. People make connections, familial and otherwise, from just about anywhere. Not everyone you connect with have ill intentions. There are legitimate people who support those in need and provide that support unconditionally.
Oh, you don't want to mention, you don't want to know what's like in his end? Oh, Doodle, you're missing out on the stories. You're missing out on Lio's children's stories. Honestly, I'm gonna put, well, actually, the children were actually manipulated and mentally drained, like, no, mentally abused and emotionally abused by Lio himself. Did we even come out and say that? I heard a story about one of the children that came out, and they're like, yeah, Lio was nothing but an abusive piece of...
Remember what I said about Brooke not playing Suzy's audio is a problem? Well, first, here is the full point from Suzy's video.
He doesn't care about people with mental disabilities. He doesn't care about children at all either. He treated his kids like shit, like his quote-unquote kids. He likes to call them his kids, but really, they're not his kids. They're just adopted internet people that act like adults.
Look, I'm not even in the family unit, and I'm gonna have to start asking people to stop being weird about Lio and his found family. I've already touched upon why I have a hard time believing these new allegations that have been coming out at the beginning of this video, so I won't dwell on them too much again. But hearing Lio is a predator coming from some news source every couple of months, all on the basis that he wants to try and create a support system for those who might not have one, gets real fucking tiring real fucking fast. I don't even want to imagine what it's like on his end. Learn what a family of choice is, please. When Lio calls these people his kids, he knows he's not meaning it from a biological standpoint. Nobody who has a found family does. Families of choice are commonly opted into within communities that often have a hard time being supported, like if they're LGBT or they're struggling with abuse or addiction as examples, on the basis that these people fill a particular role of family as a support system. Lio doesn't believe that these people are actually his kids, it's just a matter of what role he plays within their life, being that of a father figure.
It really sheds a light on how all these frequent interjections not only doesn't properly address Suzy's point, but you also argue her point with things you've heard from those who made claims against Lio without going into much detail about them. And while you do give one example in just a moment, that too has a problem, but I'll get to that in just a bit.
Shit. There you go. This is what happens when you have kids on the internet, and basically it's not a family. Still, it's not a family. I can understand why some people will be offended by this. I can understand why some people can be offended by this shit.
Considering you call the idea of found families something that is predatory, of course people will take issue with that, cause you have a very backwards understanding of such a thing. This is similar to how some people will claim things such as being gay is a phase or autism is a disease. These are all factually wrong, and yet some folks just do not want to accept these facts and just double down on these claims even further.
Yeah, and not only that, don't get me started on Lio when one of the children came out to him. Basically, when one of the children came out to him saying he was trans, Lio ends up treating him like absolute garbage. Yeah, you want to support a guy that's like this? Yeah, you can't fix stupid people. You can't. There's no way you can fix people that are stupid like this. Guess who's been watching most of the controversy videos? I have.
Since you've been watching all of these videos, then you should know which one of those had someone claim what you just said about Lio, right? Then how come you never cite which video you got this or all of these other claims from? Now sure, I could go out and try to find out which one of these videos contains what you just stated, and that's even if you accurately represented what these claims actually are. Then it would be best to cite these sources to everyone watching. It will save everyone time and we can fact check your sources. Remember, you are the presenter. There is no reason why you couldn't have done the bare minimum.
Beyond disgusting. This is not the proper way to handle it. This is not the proper way to confront people. You know, this is the part. You can't fix stupid. You can't fix him. If you decided to fucking stay with him, you can't fix him. You can't fix stupidity. You can't fix a fucking person that has only one mindset.
But he doesn't.
Yes, the fuck he does. See, that proves my point even further down the line. You can't fix stupid. Even if I Google this shit up, a lot of people in a lot of contexts, there's going to be a lot of research here. I'm looking it up right now.
While you're busy doing all that, allow me to play the rest of Suzy's point since you do not care to allow Suzy to explain her point.
But he doesn't. As much as he likes joking about being, in his own words, grug-brained, Lio is incredibly receptive to those around him when the matter is of importance and does try improving where needs be. Again, as far as his rampant ableism was concerned, he doesn't do that anymore. We were able to see such a change going back as far as that BoxOvFox video you seemed to not watch.
On that note, I've also heard the complaints about some of the language we use in these calls. While there are certain words that have been in my vocabulary longer than most of you have been alive, they're genuinely things I'm trying to break the habit of using. But that's only me. I cannot control what others say, so I'm trying to take my time to censor those words for an easier listening experience for all of you. It'll take me more time and I may miss things here or there considering how long a lot of these calls are, so please be patient with me.
He's recently been acknowledging, at least in SCC-related calls, that there are people who hang around this community with trauma surrounding yelling, so he often will try to hold back on that. The server has had an insane remodeling and the behaviors within it have mostly been changed, and part of that I know was around the time of the whole Fox Mafia stuff where what kinds of content was allowed there had been shifted as well in a response to it. The mod team has been more willing to keep Lio at bay if he goes too far in calls, and that admittedly once had resulted in a particularly awkward situation involving Brave and Pines, but that's neither here nor there. And again, as far as the Rosa Ray Ramsey stuff goes, the Peanut Gallery can't do what they did to her anymore since the restructuring of Senate calls. I am in there! I have seen this change happen. I may not have been there for the worst of it, but I see how the server acts nowadays. You obviously have not. You just want to write Lio off as the kind of person he once was, and that to me is incredibly frustrating, but we'll come back to that during final thoughts.
So you're calling me ignorant, even though I have sorta... I know I have... Ugh, fuck. I'm trying to word it as best as I can. You're calling me ignorant, even though I sort of know what's going on. You know, I sort of know what the fuck is going on.
You have stated before about how you've watched a bunch of videos about Lio and how you've immediately gotten context from watching said videos. And yet you are saying that you sort of know what's going on. This really hurts your credibility as someone presenting as to what has been going on with this whole situation about Lio. If you do not fully understand what is going on, then people should not even be listening to you. And that is on top of how you have already proven how unreasonable and uncaring to those who have brought forth issues with your arguments and claims.
Great, in our interview. An interview with... Oh no. Okay. Yeah, can't fix stupid. I even said that in my commentary, I even said that when my fucking stream. I said that you can't fix stupid.
You have said that, as well as a lot of other things over and over again. I am pretty sure if someone made a drinking game of it, no one would be alive by the end of it.
As much as he likes joking about being, in his own words, grug-brained, Lio is incredibly receptive to those around him when the matter is of importance and...
What? Confront people... you know... You can't fix stupid. You can't fix him. If you decided to fucking stay with him, you can't fix him. You can't fix stupidity. You can't fix a fucking person that has only one mindset.
But he doesn't. As much as he likes joking about being, in his own words, grug-brained, Lio is incredibly receptive.
What kind of joke is that? That is the most stupidest joke I have ever heard. That is so retarded. I'm sorry.
Well then, that was certainly ableist of you, wasn't it? Also, the fact that you have autism doesn't matter. For one thing, the R word is a word that those with special needs denounce due to how inherently toxic and belittling the word really is. as demonstrated by how you yourself call Suzy that word to belittle her as opposed to listening to what she has to say without interrupting her.
To those around him when the matters is of importance and does try improving where needs be. Again, as far as his rampant ableism was concerned, he doesn't do that anymore.
He doesn't do that anymore. You're still going to deny everything. You're still gonna deny the fact that he is still in the wrong. You still are gonna deny the fact that he still does this to this day with other people. There's a bunch of people that are already coming out with more allegations about him, how Senate runs, and how everything is. Because I heard a lot of shit.
But didn't you say you only sort of know what's going on? So which is it? Do you know what's going on or don't you? I'm still waiting on those citations, by the way.
And you think I'm misinformed? Go watch the interviews. Go watch them. Type in Lio Convoy interview. And I'm not joking. There's a lot of people that will, like, just say, you know, Lio did this, Lio did that. Lio has doxed me before. Lio has done this. There's a lot of fucking people that would say that. And it stays true. Everything that the Senate has done to other people, it's life-changing for other people, especially towards the group of minors that were in there. I think. I don't think there was minors in the Senate, though. Maybe a couple.
And there you go again, saying you think that's what happened. You're not making your case any better by just going off the cuff here without any notes on hand that you can refer people to when it comes to what actual claims were even made.
I can't be sure on that. Don't correct me. But I'm just making up a guess. I'm not sure. I don't know why I said it.
Probably from a lack of impulse control on your part, I would say.
We're able to see such a change going back as far as that BoxOvFox video you seemed to not watch.
On that note, I've also heard the complaints about some of the language we use in these calls.
Okay.
While there are certain words that have been in my...
Well, okay, just to clear your bit. I have watched that. I've watched that video further. I watched it to its entire. I've watched this video further into its entire, and I still don't agree with it. It did not sit well. If you think I have not seen that video, I have. I was drawing at that time, watching this video. I even asked, hell, I even had a conversation personally with Box herself. Or themselves, sorry, if I misgender. With Box themselves. They gave me screenshots of what was going on. And I was like, is this over a, I was even asking them questions as well. I was even questioning them at the time.
While I would have to get confirmation from Box as to what you say is true, for now this point is rather odd cause when you talked about Box before you stated how you were disappointed in them cause they, in your own words, dragged Lio in to fight for them when it wasn't necessary to do so, cause they could have just ignored the fact that they were being harassed and stalked.
Y'all really want to associate yourself with these type of people? Especially Box. I am disappointed in Box. I'm still, to this point, disappointed in Box at this point. because he had to get Daddy Lio to fucking battle his battle, which was very unnecessary to begin with. It should have been avoided a long time ago. He could have just kept his mouth shut. Yeah, I say that. I fucking say that. Oh well. So before you claim that I have not seen that video, I have. Did not age well. Did not age well. And what I heard about in the video, that video that you targeted alone, that video was heavily edited. It has some questionable things that have happened. I've not watched the interview yet, but I've spoken with somebody that was part of the interview. They told me themselves it was heavily edited. There.
Well, I hope whoever told you that can actually back that statement up, cause you really haven't done a good job of doing that yourself.
My vocabulary longer than most of you have been alive, they're genuinely things I'm trying to break the habit of using. But that's only me. I cannot control what others say, so I'm trying to take my time to censor those words for an easier listening experience for all of you. It'll take me more time and I may miss things here or there.
I do what I want. Remember those words.
I figure you think those words on screen has to do with how Lio does what he wants in regards to how he acts towards people, but that's not what the text is referring to. When you look at the previous bits of text that appeared on screen, Lio is saying in text how he used the Silverhawks theme song for his video regarding BoxOvFox simply because Box's avatar is a bird.
I do what I want. Yeah, okay, well, it's like, you're not going to, the thing is that you insulted a couple in this video. A fucking couple. You told them to get a divorce because the husband snapped. Yeah, that's hurtful. You're trying to destroy a relationship too. That is also manipulation.
While Lio did suggest to someone to get a divorce, it wasn't a couple, but one of the people in said marriage. Now if you watch the video regarding BoxOvFox by Lio, you will know why Lio even said this. But to make a long story short, Lio and a few others were talking to someone named Spooky who went to Lio to talk to him and those in call about Box. Spooky had went to bat for those who were harassing Box over, and I wish I was joking, over fan fiction. Now after a while in call, Spooky's husband, also known as OGchi Game, came home and heard the call and made the claim that Lio and others were dogpiling Spooky. Now instead of confronting Lio and others himself, he goes and complains about the call in a different server. Reminder, he's doing this while he's living with Spooky under the same roof. Lio and others called him a coward who was not willing to get in call to back up his wife, cause if what he was claiming was true, he would defend his wife without a second thought instead of just talking about them somewhere else. Lio made that suggestion since why would you be with someone who was not going to have your back when you're in trouble?
How long a lot of these calls are, so please be patient with me.
He's recently been acknowledging, at least in SCC-related calls, that there are people who hang around this community with trauma surrounding yelling.
And then he fucking yells. I'm also gonna yell too, because why not? My whole entire channel, like I said before, it's a huge trigger warning and I don't give a shit.
If you would let Suzy finish, she does say that Lio acknowledges that people have trauma regarding being yelled at, so he tries to hold himself back from doing so, meaning he tries to be more patient with those without resorting to yelling from the get-go. Suzy isn't saying that Lio ceases yelling altogether, but that he holds himself back a bit from doing so. Of course, bear in mind, even when he does yell at some folks, it is not like he doesn't have a good reason to do so, since he does go after child predators, those who defend them, as well as stalkers and harassers and so on. Also, your channel is not an indication of yelling being something that is present within your videos. Disclaimers at the beginning of your videos and in your description are, so you're not doing a favor to those with screaming as a trauma without giving them fair warning that you're going to do so.
So he often will try to hold back on that. The server has had an insane remodeling and the behaviors within it have mostly been changed. And part of that I know was around the time of the whole Fox Mafia stuff, where what kinds of content was allowed there had been shifted as well in a response to it. The mod team has been more willing to keep Lio at bay if he goes too far in calls, and that admittedly once had resulted in a particularly awkward situation involving Brave and Pines, but that's neither here nor there. And again, as far as the Rosa Ray Ramsey stuff goes, the peanut gallery can't do what they did to her anymore since the restructuring of Senate calls.
Yeah, okay. But you still give them a voice anyway. You still give the peanut gallery a voice.
Yeah. And Suzy has stated how the calls have been restructured so that calls don't get out of hand, such as preventing having people slut shame and throw slurs at those they're talking to. People are still allowed to participate, but if they cross the line then they're dealt with.
So, yeah.
I am in there. I have seen this change happen. I may not have been there for the worst of it, but I see how the server acts nowadays.
I mean, that's only icing on the cake.
You obviously have not. You just want to write Lio off as the kind of person he once was, and that to me is incredibly...
He's still the way he is. He's still the way he is. And here you are telling me that he's not. When really he is. You're listening to blind ears now. You're listening blind... You're listening to deaf ears. Onto him right now. It's still being brought up. It's still being discussed. You're still listening on deaf ears at this point. Still listening to deaf ears. And all of you want to brush it out underneath the rug. One guy that tried to make everything right and justified it. He's more like the social justice warrior in a nutshell.
For real, when did we collectively decide to start calling people SJWs again?
Oh my god! People are not allowed to call anyone a social justice warrior? Or a snowflake? Really? A lot of people still use that term. It might not be relevant now, but I still seen people use that word. Sometimes my mom would say it, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, this person's a social justice warrior. I've been also called a social justice warrior.
The term social justice warrior is a phrase that has been used to identify someone who is unreasonable and biased and who also promotes causes that they don't actually believe in but do so to seek personal validation. This term is often thrown at those who identify as left-leaning and liberal. The phrase is one that is often thrown haphazardly at those people who some think act as such. What is ironic is that those who throw that phrase at people are often acting like the very thing they claim those they accuse act like, highly unreasonably, are heavily biased and don't seek to have a constructive conversation or debate over certain matters. Suzy also never said you couldn't use the word, but she basically hints that using said word these days unironically is ridiculous. Also, you contradicted yourself again. People still use the phrase social justice warrior but admit that it's a phrase that is not relevant. Since you brought up that you were called a social justice warrior and since you called Lio a social justice warrior, doesn't that make you and Lio the exact same kind of person then?
Yeah, but only in schools. It's kind of funny. Funny. There I am, just like the new cult leader of the commentary community. PC principal. I don't remember the commentary community being like this.
Bitch, neither of you two go here. What are you on about?
I don't remember it being like that. I was just mentioning the fucking time I had with the commentary community. Do you even remember? Doodle, do you not even remember me as a cat dog fan? My lord.
Once again you misunderstood what Suzy was saying. Suzy was saying how neither you and Lio are currently a part of the SCC. She never stated you were never a part of the community, but that these days you're not in this community. For that matter, since you claim that Lio basically runs the community despite himself not even being a commentator in our community. This is also meant to point out how you yourself don't know what it is you're talking about if you're saying this about Lio.
Start calling people SJWs again.
But only in schools. Like I sound kind of funny. They're funny. Here I am, just staring off in space again. It's like new. I like the new like that. Cult leader of the commentary community. I don't remember the commentary community being like this. Yeah, right. And my point still stands.
Bitch, neither of you two go here. What are you on about?
Bruh, he's still like fucking. He feels like he's the king of all commentary. That's what I'm trying to say. He feels like he's the king of all commentary when really he was a Choi review channel.
You said that Lio was the new cult leader of the commentary community, not that he feels like he's the king of commentaries. What you're doing here is moving the goalpost. Now even if that is what you meant to say about Lio, you don't even present how that even is the case.
I don't remember it being like that. It used to be so calm, it used to be so peaceful. Well, my perspective, like basically there was not a lot of people getting called out for pedophilia reasons. They were just getting called out for stupid shit. Yeah, I still remember that shit. And it was so laughable. But now about pedo hunters. That's what really ruined the commentary community.
Apparently calling out predators is a bad thing since doing so is ruining the community according to Brooke here.
Funny shit, Dr. Phil. I'm gonna put you in a ranch. I'm gonna put you in a ranch so I can behave. Daddy's gonna put you in a ranch. Oh no, Daddy, Dr. Phil, don't put me in the ranch.
I have no idea what we're watching anymore. Brooke has kind of fallen off the plot, and if it's not obvious by my increasingly shorter response,
then why did you make a video of it in the first place? Oh my god!
And increasingly angrier responses, most of this ranting and rambling has just been kind of one big nothing burger, and it's incredible.
You're a big nothing burger. Right, Mom? Do you agree?
Yeah. I just throw up a hamburger. I think it's been out since yesterday.
Oh. My mom even agrees. And she's gonna throw out your video, Doodle.
Incredibly frustrating.
Suzy made a video on you because she had problems with your video. I think what you meant to say was, why did Suzy just come in just to interject at the point when she really didn't have much to say, even though Suzy is doing so to point to those watching her that she hasn't responded much due to you overly long rantings and ramblings. Also, did you say that your mother was going to throw out Suzy's video? Did you mean to say that she was going to try to take it down? Cause if so, then I have to ask why. Cause if you both believe that what Suzy is saying is, for example, slanderous or that she is harassing you, then you better off not even trying, cause that's not what she is doing here. You wouldn't have a case. Or if plan to try to get her video flagged, even if it means doing so under false pretenses, then that's only going to get you into deep trouble, since false flagging videos is a big no-no on YouTube.
Like, commentary used to just be about the fun of pointing out flaws in videos. Yeah, it still is. Like, yeah, my content has definitely in the past year shifted into being more about serious discussions. I'm not denying that, because it's kind of indisputable. But that's not the vast majority of other members within the slideshow commentary community, to which...
Also, if you're taking offense to that, go cry about it.
This is coming from someone who has been whining and ranting for almost 2 hours.
I'm just gonna assume that you don't know or care about, since you're still calling it commentary under one big umbrella term.
I'm not saying it's a commentary. I'm just saying it's a stream. I can do shit like this all the time. It's just a fucking stream. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Suzy never even mentioned live streams in that sentence. Where are you even getting this from?
As far as predator hunting goes, I actually haven't made a video about that yet. Unless I guess you want to count the New York video. But
Cloak and Dagger. The Sean shit that happened. Yeah, those are two I'm naming.
Those two videos weren't about calling out predators though. Cloak and Dagger were about how there were those in our community who were aware of but didn't tell anyone about how a former member of ours was still in contact with an abuser who also used to be in the community. And they all knew this for years. That call was meant to get not only all the info that they know but also to judge where things were going for them due to this inaction on their part, which was to leave the community. The calls were also there to point out how two former members were trying to manipulate people as to the true nature of why they were in trouble, as well as how one member told someone to go kill themselves, which on its own is bad enough, but they also did so knowing that same person almost actually went through killing themselves about a week or so prior. The Sean calls were regarding how Sean himself was still in contact with some problematic figures. There is some more to those calls, mind you, but you can watch those videos, which I'll leave links to. But the point is, the videos themselves were not predator hunting videos.
regardless, in regards to situations that I talked about on my channel, none of it has strictly been about exposing a predator. Mostly because the predators in question were already exposed.
And you decided to still run with the punches with Lio Convoy.
Are you referring to how Lio was a part of those videos? Cause again, that's not what those videos were about despite his involvement.
Cloak and Dagger and the Sean Sampson situation were both about people who kept known predators within arm's length of the community.
Oh no! Those are actually predator hunting. I don't care what you say. It's still fucking predator hunting.
You don't bother to explain why those videos were predator hunting videos despite not only Suzy's saying they're not, but anyone who watches those videos will understand that this isn't the case at all.
Situations that I could not be there for as a springboard jumping off point. My most recent video, prior to this one I guess, did kind of shed light on a groomer, but it was in context to the kind of behavior.
You still fucking... Okay, that proves my point even more. It's more pedo hunting. There you go.
And if you had just let Suzy talk for just a few more seconds, she would have told you about how part of her last video was about how she realized that she had been groomed. The video itself wasn't made to try to hunt this person down.
That I was normalized and pushed further into in my youth. Hell, within the past year, despite the constant drama points, I still dig content with the purpose of pointing out flaws in videos. Vincent Skullman, Shadowruff, Larvesta, Veritas, and that's to say nothing of my infamously 9.5-hour long video on Nekokoda, or the video about Hogwarts Legacy that discussed the misunderstandings found in place.
How about Mechapon?
Are you going to explain to your audience who this Nico Pawn person is and show when Suzy had covered them? No? Okay then.
The movie fans' video on the situation. That's not changed. It's just that we're also in need of some cleanup, and that cleanup requires holding people responsible for actions that were unknown and frankly dangerous to allow in the community, especially since the SCC has been used as a prowling ground for predators. People who would sexually text 12-year-olds, people who were willing to show their dick around kids, people who directly hit on kids for potential dating purposes when they showed interest in polyamory. Even being away from kids, we had people in this community who attempted to have their way with other members non-consensually, or people who would link child porn in people's comments. So even if you wanted to be, well, don't let kids in the community, it wouldn't matter when there's still fucking sick people out there who want to hurt others.
I don't know why you're yelling. I don't know anymore, basically. I'm out of the loop of what you're trying to say. Honestly, this is not needed. This was not needed. You could just end your point there.
Because being angry at those who would target children is something that isn't necessary according to Brooke. Also, you would understand Suzy's point better if you actually tried to understand her instead of getting onto her case for raising her voice.
And again, I know you don't actually care about that fact. You made that abundantly clear. But that's the unfortunate truth of it. We've seen too many...
Still, I don't care. Does it look like I give a fuck? All my fucks are gone.
Well, thanks for proving her point. I guess.
People get hurt. Too many people get preyed upon, both kids and adults. And if we want to keep that from being a continuous...
I only care if it's a loved one, okay? I only care if it's a loved one. But anyone else, fair game, I don't care.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I only care if it's a loved one, okay? I only care if it's a loved one. But anyone else, fair game, I don't care.
Well then, I think I can safely say then that this is the worst thing you've said this entire video. Your apathetic attitude when it comes to those who either have been or who are in danger of being preyed upon is not only absolutely abhorrent and offensive, it is absolutely dangerous. One should always report those who are being predatory towards anyone and everyone, the victims of these kinds of people, whether you love them or hate them, whether you know them or don't know them, care or don't care for them. Their lives matter no matter what. Not reporting and instead allowing predators that you know of to just go ahead with their actions makes you complicit in their actions through your own inactions. This makes you a dangerous person who shouldn't be trusted to keep people safe. This is unacceptable and would not, nor should not, be allowed in any community. On top of that, there are people both in our community and other communities who have been victimized this way and you just don't care about the horrible things they've been through. This is even more jarring considering you brought up Dan Schneider and about his past actions earlier towards minors. But now I guess they're just fair game to you then, since they're not loved ones of yours after all.
Dan Schneider? No, not from... Oh my god. He's the one who... he's the one who made Drake and Josh or something. Drake and Josh, Sam Cat, iCarly, all those shows. And he groomed people behind the scenes. Not funny anymore. It really is not how he would do something like that.
Mute pattern, we do need to do something about it.
And it doesn't require you making multiple videos and complaining that you have stress levels going up. Does not require that shit.
While Suzy has already addressed this in her video, I will repeat the point that as someone who runs a server that includes minors, she has the responsibility to take care of these serious situations as soon as possible to ensure that those people among others are safe. And juggling this along with the fact that she herself has been dragged into situations where she has to address accusations made towards her, she has no choice but to address them. And yet you blame her for being dragged? Then again, you did just call most abuse victims fair game after all.
He's gone. Open the damn door. Open the damn door. I'm taking a Rex at you, you damn whore. Open the door or at you damn whore. This is the infamous meme that everybody got offended over. Okay? This is the infamous meme that everybody in this video got offended over.
Suzy wasn't even offended by the video, which by the way you don't even explain how she was even offended. She simply skipped over it cause you going on about this Dr. Phil meme was a waste of time. This is especially since your video was meant as a response to Suzy with whatever your issues and concerns you had with her were, and yet you felt the need to go on about this meme when it doesn't add anything to the conversation. And the fact that it's a meme doesn't debunk anything, since there was nothing about the meme itself that Suzy felt the need to even debunk.
Also, Dr. Phil also covers like child abusers as well, and he gives them a chance to speak on good terms. And okay, keep this in mind. I know this statement's overdue. I know that what I said was not okay, But at the same time, I did not know there was bad allegations coming forward for this. Please, you know, if you're gonna blame me for having a stupid joke and talking about Dr. Phil at the same time, kindly go fuck off.
Keep in mind what Brooke just said about feeling sorry for not knowing about the allegations regarding Dr. Phil. It will be important in a moment. Also, Suzy's issue with you bringing up Dr. Phil again has nothing to do with the meme. It was about how you stated how people like Steve Wilkos, Dr. Phil, Jerry Springer and Judge Judy are better examples of those hunting predators than Lio Convoy, which as Suzy pointed out were not good examples since each of them have controversies surrounding them, such as how they have handled certain cases poorly or cases of harassment and racism on said shows.
More screenshots, maybe. I don't care how long the stream will go. If it prevents from anyone making a video, I don't care. Also, if you decide to make a video, you're wasting your time. So just to put a little, like, something on your plate, you all can't fix me. You all can't make me do shit. You all can't, you know, I can't fix you. Can't fix stupid. If you want to keep the video up, go right ahead. Ruin my name some more. If you were truly sorry, maybe you'll take it down. That's it.
So people who cannot be fixed are stupid, and since you called yourself someone who cannot be fixed, then you just admitted to being stupid.
And of course they're going to put... No. Okay, so... Of course they're going... Like, of course Doodle is going to blame me for bringing that up. Of course Doodle is going to twist my words and say that, oh, Steve made someone commit suicide over a polygraph test. Did not know that. Did not fucking know that.
Aside from that being an assumption on your part, when talking about Steve, Suzy brings up Steve's use of the polygraph tests as something that's been controversial on his show, seeing as how polygraph tests are not valid for being good evidence for showing whether someone is completely innocent or guilty, as evident by the articles that Suzy even showed. Now it should be noted that Suzy never even blamed Steve for causing someone to attempt suicide. And again, it was attempted and not actual suicide as Brooke says. Suzy also does note how Steve even acknowledges how the tests are flawed, but still relies on them on his show anyway.
And Dr. Phil has a huge controversy shit list behind the scenes. Oh no! It's not gonna prevent me from watching them. Or from not watching them.
Remember how Brooke said they were sorry for not knowing about the allegations about Dr. Phil. So how are you genuinely sorry when not only are you saying, oh no, in a sarcastic tone? Also, Suzy never even said you couldn't watch these shows. She had a problem with you bringing them up as example of good predator hunters when as she has stated they're really not.
They put themselves in the show. They put themselves in the show, and this is what they get.
And now Brooke proceeds to victim blame these people for getting themselves in the positions they're in by going onto these shows, even though that doesn't excuse the poor treatment they received from the very people who are meant to settle their cases properly and not harm the very people who seek them out for help. And that's about it for Brooke's video. They pretty much stay silent and repeat how this whole thing was stupid before ending their stream, and then proceeds to delete or private it. They didn't even bother to watch the rest of Suzy's video, by the way. So before I end off this case, I wanted to note earlier to those in Brooke's stream chat that I don't think it was a good idea for all of them to come into chat and bother Brooke with a whole lot of questions or comments that don't add on to anything. See, I know they have their issues and questions too, and that's fine, and in most other live streams I wouldn't have a problem with it. However, Brooke isn't good at answering things off the cuff for starters, as we have all witnessed, and some questions such as the ones by Livy aren't even related to what was even being discussed. Out of everyone, Suzy really should have been the one to comment in the live stream, especially since Brooke's live stream was in response to her. Now I have already pretty much noted my issues with Brooke video, but what I will recommend as well is that they should really detach themselves from this whole situation, as well as heavy situations like this in particular. They are not in the right mind to be reasonable and be able to judge things fairly and take nuance into account, especially in these kinds of situations, and they have shown to get really emotional about them to the point that it affects good judgment on their part, as well as when people do not agree with them, I might add. This is not to say they cannot cover these topics ever, but they should back off and learn to deal with these things with a better state of mind and awareness. I also wouldn't recommend covering videos by live streaming them, or at least not doing them blindly. Watch what you are going to cover first. That way you will know what points are said and you will know when to interject, and you can properly word yourself without taking too long to think about what it is you want to say. Plus, you will have prior knowledge of any triggering topics that you can warn your audience about beforehand. And on top of that, if the video you are covering is hard to hear or gets extremely loud out of nowhere, then you can adjust the volume for when you actually cover it so your audience will not be taken aback by it. You do not need to write a whole script, but taking notes is another option you can take to make things more efficient for yourself and so your audience will not have to go through so much dead air and repetition in your videos. And that's about all I have to say. Oh, and there is just one more thing about that second live stream of yours. Until next time.